Fans, welcome to the Saturday edition of eXchange, and I'm here with two friends from GE, Garrett, Kathy, nice to see you, and Aaron Gorel.
Yes.
So guys, before we jump into this, introduce yourselves and tell folks a little bit about what you do.
Thanks, Robert. So Garrett, Kathy, I'm a general manager in our US and Canada service business, and I lead our in-house HCM shared service portfolio. So I have a team of folks that work with the top leading in-house HCM organizations in the US.
Very cool,
Yeah.
very cool. And how long have you been doing that?
13 years.
13 years, yeah.
In this role for about 5 years.
Fantastic, fantastic. How about you?
Yep, Aaron Gorel. I'm the Vice President of Unite in our Strategic Service Solutions Group. So primary focus is supporting our HTM in-house partners across the United States, our channel partner program, which we're launching today, and also our on-demand commercial strategies.
Fantastic. And how long?
With GE, 23 years.
Nice.
Yes.
Good run. Good run. That's fantastic. So, all right, another how long question for you. So how long have you been coming to eXchange?
I'll start, this is my 12th year at Amy. So
Fantastic.
fantastic place to be, yeah.
And
Yep, and I've got about 7 Amy's under my belt. And do you remember 5 years ago being here in Long Beach?
yeah, and that was actually just before I joined. So you have more time here, time on task than I do. So what's one of your favorite things about being at Amy every year?
I think in the booth, you never know which conversation you're going to engage with, whether it is going to be, a new biomed fresh with energy wanting to talk, or perhaps meeting with an HTM director who wants to talk larger strategy. So just the variance in the conversations you can have on a day-to-day basis here.
Yeah, fantastic. What about you?
Very similar, I think, over the years, it's 12 Amy's over 23 years, but just meeting with colleagues, but also customers and seeing how they've progressed throughout their careers over time. And I think that time spent with them outside the normal hospital setting or healthcare provider setting is interesting, because you get into some unique conversations and seeing what's happening around you, and the excitement of the show is one of the big draws for me.
Yeah, and boy, the excitement is real. It's good to be back after a couple of years break.
Yep.
And we were all back together down in Texas, near your hometown. We were down at San Antonio. That was fantastic, and the energy's super high. You guys probably didn't get to make it to the keynote. I know a lot of times you're in here getting ready. Did you miss the keynote, or were you there?
I'll admit, I missed it this year.
You missed it, yeah. I've been on your side. I know. This year it was amazing. This fellow that came and spoke to us was from the American Ninja TV show. Have you seen this before?
Oh, yeah.
And he was originally a host, Alex, and then he became a competitor. And so he was a collegiate athlete, pretty strong fellow. But to go to that level is insane, from being a TV hosting role. And there was like tears. I was like, wow, that's a good start to the program this year. And he really brought it home how important this profession is, how important HTM is. He had some of his own personal health struggles that his family members had dealt with, and the way he turned out his journey had a healthcare parallel in it with his mom, and he was very that. Just amazing. So energy's through the roof, and this studio has created a lot of energy, and I want to thank both of you and all of GE Healthcare, because when we came to San Antonio last year, we said, we've done this virtual stuff before, but we want to keep the live stream going, and GE jumped in right away and helped us with that, and sponsored the activity. And then this year we said, we think we want to do it again. It was really popular, and it was an instant yes from you guys on the support side, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
It adds a lot. A chance to see what's happening here, even if they can't make it into town. So, all right, so Garrett, you're launching a rebranding, really, and it's GE Healthcare Service Solutions, but it's not just a rebranding, you're also expanding your portfolio. So tell us a little bit about that. What are the changes that are going on in your business unit?
Yeah. So with GE Healthcare now as a new company, we found this to be the perfect time to relook at our services portfolio, and specific to our HTM in-house customers, also think through contemporizing our offerings and how we engage with customers, whether that be contract offerings or non-contract offerings. As you can imagine, many HCMs elect to go that route. So we have simplified. I'll share with you, Robert, I joined GE 13 years ago. The portfolio to which I was brought up selling and working with clients, it's still the same as today. And so the idea of just changing, simplifying the last 13, upwards to 15 years of the way that we did things, just makes
Right.
And so timing was right for us, and also this industry is changing rapidly, and it's much more now than just parts and training and backup labor. It's cybersecurity, it's API, software, data, and so that hints in the solutions in addition to the word service.
Right. So we were talking a little bit before we went on. Keyword, the simplification. So how do things change from the customer side? What do they see that's different about how all of this works?
Yeah, so we'll still offer a full service universal solution set. Universal is our word for our full service agreements. And then for our in-house HCM partners, we have landed on this word unite.
Okay.
We're working together to solve a core mission and a problem. And within that unite set, and working through a continuum of a customer be able to be more proficient, potentially even work off of contract one day when you're having full self-proficiency. There's two options, and really the option is, do you want to cover parts in your agreement, or do you not want to cover parts in your agreement? And we work with customers in novel ways to manage the parts coverage, and also work with customers to do other unique things that are new for us, Robert, such as beginning to work remotely with augmented reality.
Oh, very cool.
With field engineers, biomeds from our remote technical service headquarters. So being able to speed repair, be more collaborative using digital tools like AR is exciting for us, and that will be part of this new offering set.
So that's sort of expert at the elbow kind of support, what you're doing with the augmented reality for your own folks.
For our own folks and our HCM partners, whether that be your phone, tablet, or PC.
Wow.
And our preliminary results are finding much more quicker time to closure on our service tickets that are open.
Sure, and I mean, it used to be you'd make that phone call and wait for the expert to show up, or, however that process worked. Now it's digital and they're virtual and they're at your elbow, I would assume fairly quickly. So
very quickly.
That's
Seconds,
very cool.
Yeah.
So is all this kicking in immediately? So you launch it, is this your brand launch? Are we announcing this to the world for the first time? Is it already out there?
This is our brand launch. We chose strategically to do it at AMI.
AMI Scoop, I love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right, well, we want to help you get the word out in all the ways that we can. So if this is the launch, congratulations on that, by the way. I know what goes into that. When will the actual changes start taking place in terms of deployment and out in the field, folks seeing the difference?
Yep, July 5th. Yeah, so we've trained up our field sales and service team, and customers will start to feel this, see the new simplified offerings here in just a few weeks.
Okay, so July 5th, so nobody gets a holiday. July 4th is the day before the cutover. They're all going to be going crazy getting ready. But no, that's easy and memorable, so that's good. That's
right.
Very good. Anything I didn't think to ask you about this?
No, you asked great questions. Thank you. We're excited to form around this word of unite, and the portfolio that here at AMI our customers will fit within.
That's fantastic. Well, I hope you get a lot of folks coming by and learning about it. And like I said, we'd love to help you get the word out even beyond this. And I love that you shared this here. That's great.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what we want to be as a platform for you guys getting the word out there. So I'm super excited about that. So Aaron, you guys are doing some transitional things as well. The language that I was looking at in terms of the background, it talked about launching a new era in services. That's pretty bold language. So tell me what's going on in terms of changes within your portfolios.
Within the portfolio, obviously working with Garrett and our HTM Pro customers, the Unite we're very excited about, but we are introducing at the show as well our Unite Channel Partner Solutions, which is, I think, a very dramatic step for us to help address some collective challenges we've all been facing in the marketplace. So the why behind that, if you don't mind, is as an organization, we do track market pressures and dynamics very closely, and they help steer our strategy and investment dollars. But these pressures are real, and they're growing over time. Many of them, obviously, cost pressures. You got the retirement wave, closing trade schools, competition for resources. And the truth is, no one organization can really solve for it on their own. So Unite Channel Partners is an opportunity for us to start coming together to help address many of those challenges that exist for HTM organizations, HTM in-house, OEMs, and even independent service organizations.
Okay. And so this is both a continuation of a way of doing business that you had previously. So it's an expansion, but it's really this transformation you're speaking about because of some of the differences in how you're going to go to market with this. So what are some of the changes folks will see from the field side as they reach back and get involved in this?
Yeah, perfect. As Garrett had mentioned, we've had for many, many years been supporting HTM in-house organizations with the parts, the service technical tools, the training, the support services that he described. What's new today and moving forward is we're expanding that access to also qualified independent service organizations. So they'll have access to what I like to call those parts and smarts, the same things that our HTM customers have had access to for some time.
They're sort of bringing them into the fold then.
Absolutely.
So it becomes a force multiplier for you all.
That's exactly right. So
And for the benefit of the customer.
That's right.
Interesting. So that's a pretty big, I see why expansion now. That's a pretty big expansion because you're putting a whole new class of folks into the solution set, right?
That's right.
How's that going to roll out? Are folks seeing that immediately, those independent service organizations and others that are engaging with you?
Yep.
Is that starting now? Is it a future thing? What's the timing of all this?
Yeah, though we kind of reserved the showcase here to make a formal announcement about it. We do have the Unite Channel Partners solutions represented in our booth, and we're already gathering a ton of interest. But prior to the show, we have started engaging a few of those independent service organizations and getting them through the process. So within the next 30 to 45 days, we'll have channel partners actually in the program. So
fantastic.
There are three types of channel partners. I'll quickly. We're looking to partner with qualified organizations to be an extension of GE in many areas. So think field modifications. We call that a service delivery channel partner. We are looking at more of a service channel partner where we're supporting them to help fulfill the obligations they may have made to their end users and healthcare provider. And finally, we have a sales distributor type model. This is an expansion. It is new, but it is an expansion of our current distributor model into something that is much more strategic from a channel partner approach through the multiple types of engagement that we can have.
So I'd assume for the end customer, that in-house HTM department or the hospital, the advantage of this is also they can get a even more complete solution.
Yes.
A more robust solution in a single relationship, right?
That's right. For years I've had this personal motto, which is I want a GE part in every GE system installed by GE trained individuals utilizing GE tools. This helps facilitate that and provides everybody out there that are entered into the program that same type of access. And that's ultimately good for the GE brand, it's good for the customer, it's good for the patient. Collectively, many people benefit.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I love it. Two new expansions, offerings, launches here at eXchange. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for sponsoring this and making this platform possible. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Because we have an exciting new future, and I want you guys to help me introduce or be here when I introduce that. But anything else before we go on to our next segment?
Just say thank you for what you're doing here. I know many people can't make this trip, and to provide a platform to get the word out to a larger audience is fantastic, and we're excited about the next couple days.
Fantastic. Well, so, all right, perfect segue. You're like a radio or TV pro because you set that up perfectly. So one of the things we're doing is trying to expand the audience, try and get more folks involved. And so we did technical training, which we haven't done previously at eXchange the first few days. Actually, it's still going on, actually. But so we did technical training at a very inexpensive price point for local technicians to come and participate in. And then they actually get access to this expo floor. And so we're trying to expand the things that we do for folks at the tip of the spear. And that's been successful. But another thing we're doing, there's a young man named Justin who has a very successful YouTube channel, Better Biomed, and he is going to be our roving field reporter during Exchange, and he's right now out there in the field. And Justin, you ready to go? Kick us off here and show folks what's happening on the expo floor.
Absolutely, guys. Hey everyone, we're out here walking the floor looking for the coolest, latest, and greatest technology, and I found some here at the home of TSI. TSI is a well-known, respected brand in the medical test equipment genre. We have a couple devices here I've never seen before, and joining me is Scott Lombardi. He's going to give us a rundown. So Scott, thank you very much. Let's do this.
Thanks, Justin. TSI Incorporated is, we've been around since the 1980s. We are experts in flow measurements, flow sensing equipment, as well as flow calibration. TSI flow sensors have been used in ventilators since the 1980s, and then we also manufacture biomedical test equipment. specifically flow analyzers, which I'm going to show you today, that are used to test mechanical ventilators and anesthesia machines and CPAPs and many other pieces of equipment, really anything that outputs flow or volumes or pressures can be measured with the certifier gas flow analyzers. Certifiers have been out for about 20 years now. Our customers really like certifiers because they're easy to use, they're accurate, and they're very dependable. And so building upon that, now we've launched new models. Our new Benchtop Certifier Pro model, which just came out last month, and then our Certifier Plus model as well, which came out last summer. So now TSI, as a manufacturer, is the only one who, in the biomedical test industry for gas flow analyzers, the only manufacturer that has a portfolio that includes both a modular handheld device as well as an all-in-one solution here. So that helps you to better meet whatever your specific biomedical testing needs may be. We'll have a solution that fits for you. Talking a little bit about the Certifier Plus, this is a small, compact, portable unit. It has a unique modular configuration where the measurement is separate from the interface. So that provides, it's connected with a cable here, makes for a very small and portable form factor, and it provides a lot of flexibility for the customers in terms of how they want to use it and ordering and things like that. It has a robust battery in here that'll give you a good 8-hour battery life, and then it has multiple mounting options as well. So for instance, I'm going to turn this around and show the mounting here. So what we find with biomedical technicians is oftentimes they're in their bench space is really taken up by a lot of instruments. There's not a lot of space, or they may be doing their testing in a hallway or a basement or some type of almost impromptu place. And so with this, we'll be able to secure the test instrument to a ventilator rail or a bench top or a mobile cart, whatever's convenient for the biomedical technician. And this will create some more space for them, and then optimizes the positioning of it so they can set it up right next to the ventilator and more easily compare readings. The Certifier Pro instrument, this is an all-in-one instrument. So this includes high flow, low flow, high pressure, low pressure, as well as the oxygen concentration measurement, all in a single unit. So this is a nice unit to have due to its simplicity of having everything in a single instrument with easy to set up, easy to operate. This does have a higher accuracy. Normally TSI products are 2% of reading accuracy. This has a 1.75% of accuracy. And this comes with a 4-year warranty as well. So, you know, TSI was really standing behind our products here, and we're trying to make that known with our warranty. Both of these models are very easy to set up and easy to use. So they include automatic breath detection, so that will detect the breath from ventilators, as well as configurations. So users can save their test setups. So if you're testing different models, after you get all your data set up, you can save that as a configuration, and then you can recall those at a later time. So you don't only have to set up the instrument one time. These configurations can be transferred between instruments. You can export them and import them. You can email them. So that's a great way to be able to speed up your setup process, especially if you're working with multiple models of ventilators, and also a good way to standardize your testing processes. So you can be assured that everybody's testing the same parameters using the same setup configurations. the interface of these models are based off of our previous generation interface, which our users, they really love these interfaces. One thing they like about it is that we have all the data, all the measurements, as well as all the settings all in a single screen. So you're not going into a menu and looking around for something. Everything is right here on a single screen.
Hey, Scott, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Now, the screen, all the numerics and everything, they make a lot of sense. It's really easy to read. Now, for this one here, is it possible to customize these displays?
Yes, yep. And the nice thing about these displays is we have what we call see and touch operation. So if you want to change anything on this, you just touch the element that you want to change. So if you want to change a measurement, touch on that measurement and it'll come up. If you want to change units, just touch on those units and it'll come up. Same for configuration. So it really makes it intuitive. And like I had mentioned, this was based off of our previous generation's interface. So if you've used any certifier flow analyzers in the past, we really carried that forward. And so very minimal training would be needed for these new products because they're really based off of that well-accepted interface. So it makes it a little bit easier. And these have identical interfaces. So if you know how to use one certifier instrument, you really know how to use them all.
I've got another question for you. So one other question. Now, these ones here can also do anesthesia gases, right? With there's an attachment that comes off to the side?
Yes. Yep, that's true. Our low flow module, our low flow channel, that has the NO2, the nitrous oxide calibration, which is often used for anesthesia sensors. And we also have an additional anesthesia sensor accessory. That is, we don't have it here with us here now, but it's an external module that would plug in, and it could plug into either of these models. And that gives you the concentration of the anesthetic agents. And that would just show up on the top, just like it's another flow channel, and the measurements are selected in the same way. So it integrates very nicely with how we have it set up here currently. Yes.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, these new devices look absolutely amazing. The displays are large, bright, easy to read, and it's a familiar interface. If you've ever used a TSI certifier before, this is going to be like second nature to you, and you can take off running with the latest and greatest technology. So, Scott, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time. Guys, stop by and check out these devices over here at TSI.
Justin, that was fantastic. Thank you. So it literally feels like being on the expo floor here in the booth, which means to folks at home it feels like that. So I'm loving this already. So you've got to head over. I think you're going to IMT Analytics next, and we're looking forward to hearing from them. So thanks to TSI Incorporated. And now I am joined in the booth by Scott Trevino from TriMedics. How are you, sir?
Doing great.
So you have one of the toughest jobs at all of eXchange. You're our keynote speaker tomorrow. And the reason that is such a tough job is because of the keynote speaker today. I mean, my goodness, I'm surprised. If it was me, I might have run out of the building. So for folks that don't know, we had Alex, who was a host on American Ninja and then became a competitor. And he shared his story, and it was just, I mean, there were tears in the, it was really something. So we'll see if tomorrow, speaking about cybersecurity, you can actually draw weeping from the crowd like he did today. So, but all joking aside, introduce yourself, let folks know who you are.
Well, thank you. I'm Scott Trevino. I'm the Senior Vice President for Cybersecurity at TriMedics.
Okay. And how long have you been, and get up on the mic just a little bit there, bring it to you, make the mic work for you. That's
Terrific.
what I always say, make it work for you. How long have you been in that role?
I've been in this role for the last year and a half or so. I've been with TriMedics for 5 years, and about 20 years before that in the med device space.
Okay, and always with focus on cybersecurity, or is that a fairly new area of focus for you? Or
here, I've done cybersecurity in my previous life and previous roles, not consistently throughout my career. I've always held roles around technology, however.
Okay, very, very good. And tomorrow you are a keynote speaker tomorrow, and you're going to be talking about some of the current regulations and other things related to the current cybersecurity landscape. So what are some of the highlights of what you're going to share with folks tomorrow?
Sure. Well, I'm going to give some context, what's going on in healthcare at a macro level, and then drill into what's going on from a cybersecurity standpoint with some real specific data behind what's going on today, current state, and what's driving the legislative environment. And you're right, it's going to be a tough act to follow after Alex today, and I think I was one of those moved to tears. I hope I don't move people to tears talking about legislation, but it could.
It could, yeah, it's possible, so.
But the idea here is to kind of give that context in healthcare, talk about what's going on with cybersecurity specific to healthcare, and then what legislation's been put in place recently, some of those trends around legislation and regulation, and then talk about the challenges and also hopefully leave the audience with some things that they can employ, take away, and do back in their jobs to help address some of those challenges.
So I don't want to steal all the thunder of tomorrow's presentation, but there may be folks watching at home who won't make it to tomorrow's presentation. What are some of the key things that are going on the legislative side? Seeing a lot of activity there now?
Absolutely. I'll show a bit of a timeline here in terms of what's been transpiring with regard to cybersecurity. There's certainly an acceleration in the last couple of years in particular, and there's a couple of things happening. What I would say is there's been a lot of legislation put in place, let's say in the last 10 years or so. However, the majority of the legislation until just recently is all foundational, what I'll call foundational. How does government work within government? How does government work with private sector? Putting in place consensus standard capabilities through NIST, those sorts of things which really don't have direct immediate impact. And what we've seen most recently.
Do the right thing legislation.
That's right, grease the skids for government to work. But what we've seen recently, and I'll talk a lot about this tomorrow, is some real empowerment with authority into the FDA and requirements around specific cybersecurity capabilities and demonstration of cyber capabilities for medical devices. So I think that's really exciting, step in the right direction, and we'll kind of go through what that means for some key stakeholders, ISOs, HDOs, as well as OEMs, and talk about what that means and what it doesn't mean.
So is the legislative environment, policy making, et cetera, catching up with practice, and the field is far ahead, or is it going to be driving practice and will actually raise the bar? And that may be a charged question, so you can decline to comment if you like. But I'm always curious about the yin and the yang of all of that.
I love it, and like most questions around cybersecurity and legislation, there's no simple answer. What I would say is this: legislation for sure is far behind what's going on in the healthcare environment. There is positive trends moving from legislation that's simply procedural, like I talked about within the government, making sure that the government can work across entities as well as with the private sector is great, but it really doesn't do anything day to day in the hospital. What's happened recently is legislation's been put in place to help enforce and empower the FDA to do things and create requirements into devices. However, what's being done is not enough, and we can't wait, and legislation will not and probably never will drive what's happening in the field. And that's going to be one of the key things that we'll discuss tomorrow, and I'd like to provide some insight on what I've seen work, what should be done to help address the current state, because there's an accelerating risk within healthcare just in the last couple of years in terms of number of attacks, the cost of attacks. Healthcare is by far the furthest behind of all of our critical infrastructure.
Are we also in healthcare the most attacked now? I know I heard from somewhere that it used to be, but now it's health systems. Is that true, or am I remembering wrong? Or
yeah, I would say healthcare, the critical infrastructure of healthcare is by far the least mature, the most attacked. It's the most costly per breach. So there's a lot of factors that are driving that, and I'm going to explore those a bit tomorrow.
Okay, and it sounds like what you were saying in once again, and I'm practically a layperson, or am a layperson, but a lot of talk about cyber over the years was related to securing patient information, especially obviously as it relates to the EHR. But what's happening now is we're seeing a focus specifically on the medical devices themselves. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, certainly, privacy.
Because you could secure the EHR, you could do all of that, but the endpoints that go out to the device, I mean, that's that's not inclusive of the whole threat.
That's right. You got to look at the whole ecosystem, right? The network, all the endpoints on the network. What we'll talk about, the majority of what we'll talk about tomorrow are the medical device endpoints and the uniqueness of medical devices within the context of cybersecurity as a whole. And one of the challenges, of course, is medical devices are regulated. You can't just apply a patch like you do on laptops for a Microsoft OS
that's true.
vulnerability.
Even if you identify a vulnerability, it doesn't mean you can address it immediately.
That's one of the key things we'll explore more, which therein lies some complexity, both from a transactional and technical standpoint. I can't just take an off-the-shelf patch from Microsoft, apply it to my medical device that uses that OS. What we need is the OEM to validate those patches and then deploy those into the field to be put on those medical devices.
There's an agility required there that's maybe light years ahead of where we might be today. That's it. I mean, this is going to be a long haul to get this right. So, well, it's going to be a great keynote. I'm going to cry. I will cry for you and fall into the aisles and weep and all that kind of stuff tomorrow. But it's going to be a great keynote. And I think if we have time, we're going to do a little Q&A at the end. But it depends on, timing, if you're willing, and all of those things. So, but I don't know.
I'd welcome it. I love questions.
Okay, good.
I'll do my best to answer. And hopefully not make you cry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So now we're going to go back to the field. So hang with me a second. I have to put on my glasses, which is not easy with these headphones. So, all right. So Justin, I see you're there, and you are with IMT Analytics. So why don't you have us tell us about what they do? Take it away.
Thank you, guys. We found more new technology that I wasn't expecting to find out here in the field. So joining me here at IMT Analytics is Kerwin and Daniel, and I would love to know information about this guy right here, because that is definitely new. And what is this? I have never seen these guys before. So Daniel, please tell us about these.
Hello everybody, my name is Daniel. I'm from Switzerland here with IMT Analytics.
Hi, and I'm Kerwin Sanger, also with IMT Analytics. I'm local here in San Diego.
So as you will see, we have our full product lineup here at our booth 819 here at AMI. So we have our test lungs over here. Then we have our brand new battery powered and easy to use flow meters here, the F1 and the F2 models. Then we have our mobile ventilator testing product line, which is the Citrix product line over there. And we have our benchtop models over here, spearheaded by our flagship product, the PF300 Pro, which we want to showcase to you today.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just by the first look of these things, that guy looks extremely similar to the H5 that a lot of people know and they love. So can you please tell us more about the Pro model over here, because it looks like it has a lot of features.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to do that. So as you pointed out, right, Justin, this is actually the same user interface that people love already and know already from our H5 that we built in our new Pro model here. So we intentionally retained the look and feel of the Flow Analyzer PF300 series, which is out there in the field since and loved by our customers since 2 decades already. So you'll see they look pretty similar, but on the other hand, the Pro is a brand new, ground-up new design, packed with new features and with innovative technology. So what the Pro also does is it combines all the 3 PF300 models that people out there know already. So it's the 301, the 302, and the PF300. It combines all the functionality in one single device now. So with the Pro, we have one combined main flow channel, which kind of combines the high and low flow channel of the PF300 series into one flow channel here. And you can measure bidirectionally flow here from minus to plus 300 liters per minute. And it has built-in temperature, humidity, channel pressure, and also oxygen measurement. So it's all been built in that flow channel. And then we have a new additional ultra-low flow channel here for even more precise flow measurement in the range of minus to plus 1 liter per minute. Then we have differential pressure ports here and ultra-low differential pressure ports on the other side. And here in the middle, you can even measure high pressure and negative pressure.
So this device, it's beautiful. It all makes sense. Everything's right out here in the front. And also, the screen, since it's just like these ones, can we customize it just like these ones? Because I know I can create profiles on this guy. I can do custom test setups. So what exactly is going on with the screen on this guy and the user interface?
I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what we were going to talk about next. We have the H5, of course, with a completely customizable screen. You can do profiles, you can do apps and everything like that. And so when we redid the PF300 and made it the Pro, we used that same user interface. It's just simply a little bit larger. So just like the H5, it's a multi-touch screen, which means I can do things like swipe, I can grab things and move them around, I can totally customize them. And as you said, we can then take that and save it as a profile. That profile then can be used over and over in this device, and it can also be shared with other devices as well. You can also do on-screen analysis, so you can see the waveforms here. Let's say I grab one of the waveforms, let it run through, I can pause it, and then once I'm there, I can do things like I can zoom in on it, zoom out. I've got cursors where I can measure anywhere along the waveform, so I can do actual analysis right there. So just like the H5, you can do all those same things here on the Pro.
So I've got a question for you. So this one here, it has a lot of settings on the front. It's a familiar interface. It just got more features, right? Yes. So the product line, it's one of the most innovative product lines that we know of because you can customize it however you want. And then we've got these guys over here. Can you guys tell us about these two over here? These are unique, and I've never seen them before.
All right, glad you're asking, Justin. Thanks a lot. So again, these are our brand new flow meters. So they are very compact. As you can see, they are battery powered, and they can measure flow through that main flow channel, of course. Then it also measures absolute pressure, humidity, and temperature of the gas. And you can even measure volumes. There are trigger settings. You can set a start and an end trigger, and then it calculates the volume too. We have two models. This is the F1. The difference here is the F2 additionally has the humidity measurement, and at the back side it has differential pressure measurement port as well. And it's a little more accurate in the flow channel, so that guy is plus minus 1.7% flow measurement accuracy in there in the flow channel.
Wow. So IMT Analytics, one of the most innovative companies that are out there in the medical test equipment realm. And guys, they have new stuff. You never know. There's always surprises out there. So guys, thanks Kerwin, Daniel. Appreciate it, guys.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Awesome products. All right, guys.
Justin, thank you, and thanks to you guys for us. That was really good. And now you're headed off to Fluke next, right? You're getting your workout today. All right, so I'm here in the studio with one of my favorite people, Heidi Horn. How are you?
Thank you, Robert.
How are you,
I'm
Miss
doing
Heidi?
awesome. Doing awesome.
So, Amy, board member,
Yes, I am.
chair of the finance committee,
That's right.
and lots of other things. How long have you been involved with Amy now?
Oh, you know, I was trying to remember this the other day. I mean, it's been at least 15 years plus. I try not to say.
A spell.
It's been a while. It's been a while,
as
yes.
we would say.
I've been involved in a lot. And what we're talking about today was part of my involvement with the Technology Management Council.
That's right. You're a member of the Technology Management Council.
I was the chair of that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
probably more committees than I either know or have time to list, actually. But
I do love Amy.
Before we go to all that, what are you doing now? What do you how do you keep yourself busy these days?
I am staying busy. Well, thank you for asking. So, I just started my own consulting firm in April. So, so I'm now consulting, Heidi Horn, HTM Consulting. You know,
there you go.
Wasn't very creative, but it gets the point across. So,
you know
anyway.
what? I started a company at one point. I did a consulting firm in between a couple of things, and I named it R. Burroughs and Company. Mm-hmm. And it only paid off one time. I met somebody, I don't remember who it was, and they said, "Oh, you're R. Burroughs?"
R. Burroughs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I looked at it.
I'm the guy that put it on the card. So
that's
there you
right.
go.
That's right.
So
yeah.
what are your focus areas? What are you focusing on in consulting practice?
One of the things I'm really excited about doing is I'm helping not only HTM organizations, HDOs and everything else, but also medical equipment manufacturers, suppliers of medical equipment, all of that, helping them basically better perform. And what we know in the industry is that nobody has enough staff. It's like everybody's trying to do more things with less people. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of projects and initiatives out there that they just don't have time for, or they don't have the expertise for. Mm-hmm. And so what I am doing is I'm helping them out with those things that they want to do but don't have the time for.
Yep.
So
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, it's going to keep you very busy, but you'll still have another 12 hours in the day for Amy.
That's
so it's
right.
Perfect. So,
yes.
so speaking of 12 hours in the day, so you mentioned you're on the Technology Management Council.
Yep, I was.
And the chairperson of that as well.
Yes, that was
and
last
so,
year, yeah.
So you guys produced a product, and I'm going to get the name wrong, so you help me with this. It's like the Amy standards.
Yeah.
They're not the most graceful names sometimes, but they're very descriptive.
Right.
They're very descriptive.
Right.
So it's the Amy Planned Maintenance and Compliance
Definitions.
and Definitions Guide.
Correct.
I
yes.
did okay.
You did a
That
great
was all
job
right.
at
So
that.
what is
yes.
this? What is this document?
So yes. So I was the chair of the Technology Management Council. I actually rotated off. But when we were doing this, we broke into different subgroups. And I was part of this subgroup, and we were looking at things that were really important in the industry and what could we do and put some guidance documents together, not standards, but guidance documents together to help HTM organizations and BMETs and everyone else really understand the whole concept around PMs, okay? And so what had happened was that a few years ago, CMS came out with this concept of 100% PM completion. And, those of us who were running HTM organizations at the time, like, what does that mean? Does PM completion mean, okay, I touched 100% of all the devices, I performed a PM, and did all the tasks that were involved? Completion. Well, quite frankly, that's not possible because you can't find the devices. Many of the devices.
Those clinicians keep using them.
They're not found.
They won't let you take them off the patient.
Exactly, and you don't want to do that. Yeah, or they're
Sorry,
in use.
we'll be right back.
Or there's a variety of reasons, but you can't get to all of them. So, what we found is that 100% PM completion, as it, a lot of people were defining, really an impossibility. And so we wanted to get some guidance to HTM folks about what a new concept, what we call PM compliance. And that's really was putting the focus back on managing the PMs properly, managing your PM program properly, and focusing on getting to the devices as soon as possible, but not
defining success properly.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
Thank you. So, so that was what the whole guide's about. So it's really like what the difference between PM compliance versus PM completion, and how to properly manage a PM program.
Right.
And so it's a free document. You can
available on the Amy website. Right. And you wrote it all yourself. That's how these things work.
No, I
right?
did not. No, I did not. I had a wonderful team, and I do want to give them a shout out. So on this sub team that we, and we worked on this for a good year probably, but it was Maggie Berkey, Blake Collins, Barbara McGuire, Colleen Haugen-Ortiz, and Daniel McGeary. You're Danielle.
There you go.
Yeah,
there
so we all worked together on this, and it did get a lot of scrubbing by other folks in the TMC and
Peer
on
review.
Amy.
Yeah.
And we even had Joint Commission take a look at it. So.
I think it's worth focusing on that a bit because we have folks watching this who are not as active in Amy yet as you have been over the years, but to understand the value of what we do is that understanding that community approach, consensus approach in the case of standards and committee-based documents, but everything we produce has a peer review process, has a sort of a best in breed review. So, so part of that structure of how we do that is the TMC. So say a little bit about that because folks may not know what the TMC is.
Yes. So Amy has what we call the Technology Management Council. You need to be selected. You can get nominated or nominate yourself to be on
similar
it.
to a board or other advisory body.
And there is a selection process, and they have 26 people, I believe, on that one. And they try to get a variety of people from different backgrounds, whether we have, some BMETs, we have people that are part of HDOs, we have manufacturers, we have people in the sterilization, so it's a variety of people that are on that team, and they're all wanting to come up with different ideas or different guidelines to help, the Amy constituents, essentially.
Right.
So,
and you kind of divide into work group or choose your topics or your focus areas and divide into work groups.
We talked about what's important. Whether it's they've done a ton of stuff. Whether it's cybersecurity, they've done guides on that. They've done AEM guides. They've done a number of different things that those TMC as well as the health technology leaders.
HTLC.
Yes.
Yep.
Council.
More acronyms.
Right. I know. I had to think about that for a second.
Acronym
and
factory.
so there's a number of again, free guides or whatever resources that Amy has out there on its webpage that have been produced by these people.
Right.
And all obviously volunteering.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let me put you on the spot a little bit more.
Uh-oh, you didn't know you were going to do this.
So, it's easy though.
Okay.
So you're part of that activity, you're the chair. sometimes folks will hear about something like this and then come and go, I want to be on the TLC, or the TMC, sorry. TLC. There's my first blooper reel. So the TMC, and it's like, you don't go from never heard of Amy to being on the TMC overnight. There's things you look at. So I know some things are, have you written articles? Have you been involved? Have you presented at Amy eXchange? But say a little bit more about what you look for in folks for positions like that. How do people build up their career to that point? Well, that's not where you start.
It's not, and I think you pointed out some, you get involved, you do some presentations, and just because you're not on a particular committee, there's a number of different opportunities. Again, if you go to that Amy website, it'll tell you how to get involved, kind of thing. So there's a number of different things you can get involved in, and the list goes on, and that's probably the best place to see. But start working that and express interest.
Right.
Say, I do.
We're a very open group.
Yes, we are, and honestly, we're very much encouraging diversity across the board, whether it's diversity from backgrounds and everything, and so. That's another thing that we're looking at. We don't want to have it all stacked up like everybody on the TMC is from health system.
Right.
You want a variety, or everybody's a HTM leader or whatever. You want a variety of people from different areas and everything else that can add to that.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for everything you've done over the years.
Well, thanks. I've loved every minute of it.
We'll continue to take your other 12 hours every day.
Oh, I have no doubt about it. So yes.
And it's been fantastic. So thank you so much. So we're going to go this new feature we're doing. You know all about this. We're with Justin, who's going out and getting on the expo floor. And Justin, I see you are now with our buddies at Fluke. So take it away, Justin.
All right, guys. This is probably some of the biggest news yet. So again, we're walking around the show and we see brand new Fluke. You see this, and it's not in traditional Fluke colors, so you might not recognize it as you just walk by. But this is brand new Fluke and their new the 1QA software, which is built into the system. So guys, joining me is Michael and Justin from Fluke Biomedical. We're going to talk about the IDA 6, the 1QA software, and one-touch testing.
Yeah. So I just wanted to walk you guys through a quick introduction to what 1QA is. We call it workflow automation software, and it does a couple things. And the biggest thing is procedure management and standardization. So you can create your own procedures, you can put in pictures, you can make sure that all the knowledge from your senior techs are transferred down to your junior techs, so everyone's doing the same test the same way every time. And that's a great way to get people started, especially as people are onboarding into the industry. The second thing that it does is report generation and automation. So all those results that you get from that procedure, you can put it right back into a report that's customizable. And the best thing is if we have a CMMS integration available, we can push that right into your CMMS system so you can open and close the work order. And the last thing that 1QA does, and this is what we're kind of excited about, is automation, right? So if you have Fluke Biomedical or RaySafe equipment, you're able to automate those steps. So you can tell your test equipment what to do. You can pull those results right back into the procedure and the report. And right now you do that using a PC and a USB connection. But what I'm going to do is toss it over to Justin behind me here to show you where we're going, which is try and move away from the PC. So Justin, over to you.
Thank you. So moving forward, we're going to introduce the next piece of our family in our ecosystem, and this is the IDA 6. This is a brand new infusion pump analyzer. It uses a piston-driven stepper motor technology. So the traditional IV pump testing is gone, and is now enabled by 1QA. So I can simply use a barcode scanner, push run procedure on my IDA, take my barcode scanner, barcode my device. Here it is, pulled it right up. I simply select it, select the test I need, push run, and I'm right into running my procedure. I didn't even need a PC with me, I didn't need a laptop. So here's where it starts to get really fun then. So here's all the supplies I need. So what supplies are they? Right here's a picture of everything I need to set this up. So here's a neat little side note about this. You notice that I don't have a collection device. So I'm pulling right out of an IV bag, through my infusion pump, into my analyzer, out of the backside, and pushing it right back up into recycling it. This makes IV pump testing so much more portable. Now we can finally go out from our lab and go out to the floor and do our IV pump testing. Oh, by the way, how accurate? It is 0.001 milliliter accurate. So this is a 50 microliter syringe, contains 2 droplets of water. 1/50th of this syringe is how accurate our analyzer is. Speeds up the entire process, so now we can just continue to go right through our procedure, push the buttons right here. Here's our visual inspection. Determine our software. We can type our software version right in to the device. Hit continue. Verify the serial number. All of our results are going right back in here. Now, these are the exact instructions right out of the Sigma-Pace manual. We were able to take those, build them right into 1QA, pull them right back here so we can continue on through doing it. Right through our digital key test, follow the instructions, the results, and then we move right into our occlusion test. All the testing, all in one device, all capped right back down. It gets even a little bit more exciting, Justin, because now we can go up to 4 channels in our analyzer, where traditionally we'd have to send our entire analyzer in to do calibrations. Now, if you simply flip this up and look at the bottom, you'll see that each channel has 2 screws. You take out those 2 screws, pull that channel out, disconnect it from a USB cable, and you send that channel in for calibration, and you keep the rest of the analyzer. So you can keep on calibrating and keep on checking your devices. Everything is then captured here, saved, and we can use either a connection through USB-C cable or through Wi-Fi, and instantaneously Wi-Fi results right back to our CMMS. So now all that laptop, all those notebooks, all that stuff is now gone. Everything's right back to your procedure, right back to your computer, and you can continue to move on throughout your day.
I've got one question for you. So you can include custom photos and custom tests, and how much time do you figure this is going to save you? Because I could imagine if you standardize your tests and everything's right here on your analyzer, I would imagine you're going to save a lot of time.
That's a great question. So we've done a bunch of time type studies, and we find on average between 30 and 40% time reduction. So some biomeds get really nervous about this. They said, oh my gosh, does that mean we're going to cut head count? Absolutely not. What it does is it finally gives you time to do things like making sure you have the correct revision of your service manual, because we talked about that the last time we met. You know, time for doing repairs. Every biomed shop has stacks and stacks and stacks of broken equipment. How about this one? It free up for time to be on the committee that decides the next device. So maybe you can do things like negotiate for training or your service manual. So yeah, about a 35 to 40% reduction in time on average.
That's absolutely amazing. So that's the Fluke IDA6 Infusion Analyzer with built-in 1QA, something that normally you have to take a whole separate device, a laptop, in order to achieve. Now it's embedded inside the new fleet of Fluke analyzers, and guys, this is absolutely amazing. So I could only imagine the amount of time, energy, and money that went into creating a whole new ecosystem. But guys, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Justin Ross, Michael, guys, this is awesome.
Down to the booth. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Justin, and thanks to the guys at Fluke. That's fantastic. And you're still going to be working for a living because you've got one more visit to go make, right? You headed over to the Steris booth?
Absolutely, guys. We're going to be heading over to Steris because they got some cool stuff as well.
All right. We'll get to walking. And thanks again to the guys at Fluke. We really appreciate you. So, all right. So this is kind of fun. I just saw you a few months ago, and here we are together again. So I am with Richard Woods from Renew Biomedical. So Richard, say a bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I got into the biomed field a little bit late. I was originally as an electronics technician for over 20 years, worked for Texas Instruments as an electronics tech, then just kind of stumbled into the biomed world. We had moved back to Tennessee, and I was looking for another job, and just happened. I wanted to work at the hospital because I knew that was one thing that was not going to be moved anywhere else.
All healthcare is local.
That's right. So I looked into the biomed department, and I started out working on like their medical communications, their nurse call, cable TV network, overhead paging, and then that just gradually eased on into working on the equipment.
Yep.
And then I've been with the Renew now for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
Renew started their training academy, and I'd known Mark and Justin at Renew for several years, and they originally approached me to work as a technician for them in Texas because they knew I had been living there before, and said, no, I'm not ready to move back to Texas yet. And they came to me a week or so later, said, we got something else you might like to do. We're starting this training academy, and we think that you'd be a good person to run it. I said, well, I don't know about that. I've never taught anything before. I said, I'll give it a try. now 2.5 years later, it's
There you
turned
are.
out very well.
That ties in perfectly to the keynote today when Alex was talking about he was at a moment of inflection in his life, and then someone came aside and said, why don't you try this thing? It might be good for you. And changed the trajectory of his life. And what a great example of that. And you're a great example of something we talk about all the time, the need to pull in folks from other fields into HTM. And we often think about that as folks that are earlier in their career, but you're proof it can happen at every stage of your career.
It can, and that is so important. We've got to pull these people in because it's just not enough being produced to be a biomed technician. We have to find people working in similar fields that can be trained to be a biomed technician. That's exactly what we're doing at our training academy.
Yeah, you're like an army of one, or Renew's an army of one or something, because we talk about this all the time, the shortage in the field and getting folks in, but you are doing something about it. You are one of our most prolific producers of new BMETs. And in fact, we were just down there, and I want to make sure I remember the name right, visiting Josh Weatherford, who was our first ever graduate from the Amy apprenticeship program, and you mentored him, correct?
Yes, indeed. He was a student in the first class that we taught, and he was one of the first ones to sign up for the Amy apprenticeship and the first one to complete it. So we're real proud of Josh.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you have more apprentices in the pipeline now, correct?
Yes, we do. We have about 10 of them in the pipeline now.
10?
Yes.
That's fantastic. And of course, the company's growing like a weed. You're having tremendous success, so you're able to bring these folks in and find them a position almost right away. I mean,
right away
for a need immediately. So, well, tell me from your perspective some of the benefits of the apprenticeship program and why you guys have embraced it as you've tried to grow your staff. And
Well, the benefit is we're growing our own employees. The whole reason our training academy came about was because we had a need for more employees, and they just weren't out there. So we are creating our own through the training academy.
And it gives
the
you
apprenticeship
that blueprint.
Yes, and the apprenticeship program gives us that blueprint. We know exactly what we need to teach them to get their Amy certifications, and that is our goal for all of our technicians at Renew to be Amy certified, whether it be at the CAB-T or CBET level. And up until recently, when we went through a big hiring spree, we were able to say that every technician was Amy certified.
You were 100%. I remember that designation you earned at 100% Amy certified. Well, you're keeping up. I mean, we need to create some kind of window if you're hiring that fast and that often. And I was so impressed when I came down to visit you all, and I did see over each of the workbenches, you make a point of having a little notice up there or a plaque that says this person holds this Amy certification. I mean, on every bench, the certifications that person has earned are displayed, and people are proud of it. They're so proud of it.
They are, and we really believe in the Amy certifications because you can go to 5 different hospitals across the country, and you'll have this person says, I'm a BMET 1, BMET 2, BMET 3, senior BMET 3. Those titles mean nothing. But once you have the Amy credentials, that means something. You can go to a hospital in Jackson, Tennessee, or Long Beach, California, and that CAB-T or that CBET is going to mean the same at both of those.
Right. And I think you're using it in the right way. A lot of organizations miss the mark on celebrating that certification because it becomes a point of pride for the employees. Yeah. It's not just a thing to put a check in the box and now you're at a different pay grade in your hospital or whatever it might be. It really creates a sense of pride and of professionalism. Yeah. And the culture that you've created down there by celebrating both the apprenticeship program and bringing your apprentices through and the certification program, I mean, you guys are achieving something that many others have not, which is you're growing, you have a demand for new folks, but you're meeting that demand through the combination of Amy programs that you're using, et cetera, and it's very impressive.
And we're very proud of it, and we're very appreciative to Amy for the help we've gotten.
That's what we're there for. That's what we're there for. So you mentioned you had switched to this profession later in life. And I know that you are a recent newcomer to Amy Exchange. Actually, a lot of times when someone's at this stage in their career, I'll say, how many times did they beat me? They're like, I've been here 30 years, and I've only been here 5. But this is your second Amy Exchange?
This is my second Amy Exchange.
All right,
yes.
so you're like a newcomer to Amy Exchange, not to the field. But what do you think of the Exchange? What do you think is the biggest benefit for folks coming in person?
I think the biggest benefit is to see all the new products and to be able to network with the people that you know from other companies, because in the 20 some odd years I've been in the medical device field, people have come and gone, and when I worked for another large company, I got to work nationwide with them as part of their inventory team. And of course, these people have moved on and went to other companies, and here gives me a chance to see them at their new companies.
That's right.
And get to learn more about their company.
Things change, but it really is a community that stays together.
Exactly, it is a community.
And this is where you could come together and get to know those folks and network and continue those relationships no matter what's on the shirt
exactly.
at that particular moment. So, well, I'm just so pleased at the success you guys are having. Anything else you want to add about your program? You're probably going to say we have 5 openings.
We are hiring. Come by our booth and talk to me.
There you go.
No, we're real proud of it because we've been successful, and we've grown from maybe 7 technicians when I hired 2.5 years ago. Now we have, including our customer service people, we have over 30.
Wow.
We have more people that can fit into our conference room now to have a department meeting.
You've got to spread out. That's right. And what a beautiful facility. The expansion you guys are doing down there, really, really impressive. Well, listen, thank you so much for your support of Amy, because when you are using these certifications, using the apprenticeship program, you're setting the standard for others to follow. And we couldn't be more appreciative of that. So thank you. And
well, it is my pleasure.
I look forward to getting down there again for another visit. And you'll be so big, I'll get lost in the building. I almost did this time. So
you're welcome anytime.
All right, fantastic. So you're talking about bringing new technicians on, bringing new folks into the field. One of the things we're doing is we've got Justin from Better Biomed, who's out on the floor because we're trying to, for folks that can't get here yet, give them an introduction to all the things that are on the expo floor. So, Justin, I think you're with Steris now, right?
Absolutely, guys.
Right, take it away.
So, guys, this is one more new thing. It's almost exhausting when you think about all the new stuff that's at this year's Amy Exchange. But this one right here, Steris has a brand new in-house partnership program and a Connect Care portal. And joining me today is Scott and Andrew. They're going to give us some insight on these programs.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate the introduction. Thanks, everyone, for attending the AMI conference this year. So the in-house partnership program with Steris, it's a new offering that we have, and it's designed specifically for those facilities that have their own biomed trained personnel, and they want to be able to do that service themselves. They're not necessarily interested in having a contract with Steris to have Steris technicians come in and do the work. They want to do it themselves. So what we have is a fully customizable program, really designed to meet whatever the needs are of that particular health system, and it involves an automatic part shipment. We put our customers on a PM auto shipment, so when it comes time to do those preventive maintenance checks for whatever the piece of equipment is, those parts just automatically show up. It's a visual indicator that it's time to do that service. We also offer service training on all of our pieces of equipment, so those folks that sign up for the in-house partnership program, they have access to that training and they can participate in that training, so they're certified on that equipment. And there's a lot of other benefits, one of which I think the greatest benefit is access to our online service portal. So with Connect Care on the in-house partnership program, it's an extra level of access. And what I mean by that is those that are involved will have access to our service manuals, our PM checklists, the same information that our own service technicians have access to. And folks that are not on the in-house partnership program don't have access to those things. So it is proprietary information, but it allows those technicians to have right at their fingertips the information and the guidance that they need in order to do that service. So with that segue into the Connect Care portal, I'm going to turn over to Andre, who has a lot more expertise in the portal, and he's going to walk through and give a quick demonstration.
Hey everybody, thank you. So Connect Care, that's our new technology platform. It enables you to maintain your equipment I'm just going to show you around a little bit. As Scott mentioned, we do have maintenance manuals, PM checklists. We also have a brand new troubleshooting center for biomed. When your equipment goes down, for example, this is a small Sentry sterilizer, a common piece that you'll find in hospitals across the US and Canada. Here you can see you've got a troubleshooting center, there's a service history if we do any work for you on difficult repairs, operator manuals, maintenance manuals, and the PM checklists. All of that is provided to help you maintain the equipment and troubleshoot when it's down. But I do want to just give you a sneak peek at the troubleshooting center because it's there to help you when your equipment goes down and you know the type of alarm that it's experiencing. We provide you with access to steps that you can take to help, whether it's calibrate or replace a part based on the type of alarms that that piece of equipment is experiencing. So here, as an example, if you have an ADC failure or chamber pressure temperature failure, go in here and we've chopped it into bite-sized pieces to help you as you go through the troubleshooting procedure. And this will take you step by step. It's what our technicians are using to troubleshoot. To help enhance the overall experience, we also put these QR tags on your equipment, which you can scan with the ConnectCare mobile app, and it pulls up that specific piece of equipment. It'll take you right to the troubleshooting center or the maintenance manual or the PM checklist to help you as you maintain your pieces of equipment.
So these little tags right here, they auto-import that exact specific device so you can troubleshoot on the spot. No more flipping through Google, no more trying to find error codes. You get from the OEM direct source of information on that specific item. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So that's ConnectCare. We also have remote monitoring. I just want to show you, this is new for us. When your equipment is connected, if you're a biomed, you'll know what's going on in the department before the department even contacts you. For example, the equipment goes down, you'll get notified and you'll know exactly what happened with that piece of equipment. In addition to that, if there's troubleshooting steps, there's going to be a link right here that says troubleshooting and it'll take you directly there. We have operator level troubleshooting that you can walk the operators through, or biomed troubleshooting. That's all available to you. For remote monitoring, we can remotely monitor for you sterilizers, washers, low temp sterilizers, and it's all there. It's easy for us to connect it for you. We can do it through a land drop, and or we also have an LTEM technology, which is a low frequency cellular signal. So as Scott mentioned, the in-house partnership program is designed to help you maintain the STERIS equipment at your facility. If you're interested in learning more, reach out to your STERIS local representative and say, hey, I heard about this in-house partnership program, I want to know more, and we'd be happy to talk to you about that program.
That's amazing. So not only do they have automatic part shipping to your facility when they're due, but they also have tags that provide the direct information on that device on site, which is super cool. But also, you get training that's included directly from the OEM. What's not to love? Technicians should be rejoicing about this, and I wish more manufacturers provided programs like this. So guys, thank you very much. Mr. Andrew, Mr. Scott, guys, this is awesome.
So Justin, one thing to add, when they reach out and say, hey, we heard about your program, say we heard about it at eXchange.
Oh,
Justin.
I got you. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Justin, thank you so much for what you've been doing, and thank the guys there at STERIS for us. Before we close out, because this is it, we're done for today. I know you're going to still be busy on the floor, but this segment's wrapping up. But how can folks find you? Tell them a little bit about your channel.
Oh, excellent. So guys, I run the Better Biomed YouTube channel. I've been doing it for about 5 years. I don't know, right now I got about 14,000 subscribers, about 40-some thousand views per month. It's been amazing. I got like 800 videos out there on almost every topic you can think of, from professional development to actual troubleshooting to even like interviews with companies with brand new awesome products. And so I just try and cover a little bit of everything, and I get a lot of interaction with the viewers, which I absolutely love, guys. It's been amazing. Thank you very much. And thanks to Amy for helping me out and supporting me.
Absolutely. We love having you here, love having you on the floor, and we got a lot more of these to do tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. I look forward to it. I'm really excited.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad you're here. And once again, thanks STERIS for us. They've been a big supporter of Amy over the years, and we were so delighted to have them. So, and Justin, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wrap it out right here. We're done, man.
Excellent.
Thanks,
guys.
Get a cup of coffee. All right, and everybody at home, thanks so much for joining us. We hope this is a program that is helpful to you. And, you know, we also hope you can be here in person. If not this year, you can still walk up and do in-person registration next year when we are in Phoenix. So, but we'll be back tomorrow with a live stream, so we'll see you then. Take care.